Hello, this is Dianne Ayala Steffey. Welcome back to my channel where we explore all things mortgage related and personal finance. In this video, we have a special guest, Cody Miller, who will be talking about how he got into the real estate business and all of his successes. Cody will be sharing his journey and his insights of this industry and be sharing tips of his success. So let's jump into the interview. Well, hello.
Hello.
My favorite friend.
How are you?
I'm awesome as usual. So thank you for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
You know, I've always wanted to sit down to talk to you more about how you got into this real estate business.
I kind of by accident almost. I was in college, graduated right when COVID-19 started, and didn't walk the stage, didn't do anything like that, and kind of was sitting there like, what am I kind of gonna do? We moved around a lot growing up as a kid, so I remember kind of always being involved with the process of looking at homes with my parents. I'd make them take me, even though I was like 10, 9. Like I had no business being there, but I was like, oh yeah, this house would not work out for us and our family. But I remember always just going and being with the realtor and looking at the houses and kind of really falling in love with it. So when I graduated and was like, with the degree in business management, I was like, what do I really want to do? I couldn't see myself sitting behind a desk all day. Always kind of had the idea that I liked real estate. So I was like, you know what? If there's not going to be a better time to start than now. So I got into the classes, took the test, and here I am now.
So what were the criteria for you in deciding which particular real estate brokerage to go with?
At first, I really thought I wanted to be on a team because I was just starting out from college, didn't really have a large sphere of influence at all. Like my friends are not buying homes, they're still in school or trying to figure their lives out. So I was like, I'm going to need to be on a team where they're kind of supplying me with leads and business until I, grow my own sphere. So I went into interviewing at brokerages thinking that, and then I interviewed at Coldwell Banker, and their business model was, you're an individual agent, but you are a part of a team. Everything is under your name, so you are building your brand and your business, but you do have the support that I felt like I needed starting out in this industry. And so even though it was my last choice brokerage, it was my first interview, and I remember after that interview, I canceled all the other interviews and just immediately signed on with Coldwell Banker. So since then, I've been there.
So what would you say is the best thing that's ever happened to you while at Coldwell Banker?
I think just meeting the influences I have in my life now, and like the mentors that I have, the people I surround myself with there really are probably the reason I have achieved the success I have so far. It really is like a family.
Oh. So tell me about your first real estate transaction.
Completely had no idea what I was doing. It was a VA deal.
VA?
Yeah.
Impressive.
So I got thrown right into one of the most difficult transactions I've had, but I think it was one of the best learning experiences I've had, and I've carried that over just with every transaction I've had done from then. But it was also a first-time home buyer couple, helped them, achieve the homeownership dream, and since then it's kind of just been from there. I've just been going, and it was really rewarding to see kind of helping someone achieve the dream of homeownership.
So in your first year, what was your ending production? What did you?
A little over 7.8 million.
The first year?
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
That's very unusual.
That's what I've been told.
That is extremely unusual.
Yeah.
You don't even get $1 million the first year, when you're a realtor just starting.
Yeah, I think when I started and went through the training courses, I really was like, I want to make this a career. I know there's a lot of people that come in and sometimes it's part-time, sometimes it's just a side thing, but I knew I wanted to really make a business and a career out of it. So from the beginning, I really had high goals for myself.
That's amazing. So tell me your daily ritual that every day. What do you do? Because you're somehow something. You are disciplined. It sounds like. But
yeah.
How were you able to achieve 7 million and not having a sphere,
yeah,
or not having any leads or on a team per se? Tell me, what's your secret?
I think a lot of my success is from just but before I even got into real estate, I always say that, to be successful in real estate, you have to have discipline in your personal life, because how can that carry over into real estate if you do not have your personal life, any sort of schedule at all? So growing up, I was just in athletics. I was a college athlete, and I think that instilled a mindset of just like working and time block and managing just everything that's going on in your life to set me up to be successful in real estate. So I wake up very early in the morning, work out. I think that's extremely important. I think this career is different every single day, but I like to have some sort of structure in my day. There has to be something that's always the same. So my morning routine, no matter what I have going on during the day, that morning routine is always going to be the same. So, I wake up at the same time, I work out, I eat breakfast, try to get to the office around the same time every morning. And then, from there, whatever the day takes me is where it takes me. But at least I've done that part. And even in my personal life, you can't be successful in this career if you're not taking care of yourself personally.
True.
So that is some of my non-negotiables. I always tell like new agents, I'm like, you need to have non-negotiables in your life that you live by, because this career can easily take your entire life, time, everything away from you. So you need to make sure you have those things set up so that you can be successful in your career.
So how long have you been doing this?
A little over 2 years. Seems like a lot longer.
2 years.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How long have we known each other?
Basically 2 years.
2 years.
We met at the very beginning.
I know. I love working with you. You're just amazing to
Thank
work
you.
with. So tell me, what kind of well, I understand that you won some awards lately. Rookie of the Year for 2022 with Coldwell Banker, your brokerage.
That was definitely one of my goals starting out. I remember sitting in the training class, and the previous Rookie of the Year had walked in, and I wrote down her number. I was like, I need to get coffee with her. I need to, pick her brain and see kind of how she got to where she did. And that was one of the first, meetings I set up once I got out of training. And just ever since then, I was like, I'm going to try to be Rookie of the Year. So that was one of my biggest goals. So I was extremely excited to be able to achieve that. Especially just, I never expected what has happened to happen. So I'm just extremely grateful.
Well, I'm so impressed. Tell me how many of those rookie realtors you were competing against.
Well over 100 or 200. Yeah.
That's impressive.
So.
That's amazing. So I also know that you were just recently selected as the top 50 of the 500 realtors in San Antonio.
Yes, I was on a list of the top 500 realtors in San Antonio, which again, never really expected that, but extremely grateful.
As well as the top realtors under 30?
Yeah, I was nominated for 30 under 30 for Coldwell Banker, so that was extremely exciting too. That was kind of one of my big goals too, I remember when I was sitting in my training class, there was a magazine that was like the 30 under 30 for National Association of Realtors. And I cut it out and I taped it on my mirror, and it has been on my mirror every day since I've started. So
you're good at affirmations.
Yeah,
and
manifestation and looking at
there you go.
Affirmations, yeah.
So what are the most important skills for someone that's starting out as a new agent? What would you advise them to do?
I think you really need to commit yourself to this career and be ready for potentially not seeing anything for 6 months or more. I think a lot of new realtors can get really discouraged really quickly when they are coming to the office every day and putting in the work but not seeing the results. But I kind of like to compare it to like your career is like an ice cube, right? And you're starting at 0 degrees, and up until you get to 32 degrees, nothing happens with that ice cube, right? It doesn't melt, nothing nothing happens. But as soon as you get to 33, it starts melting. So it's like when you keep putting in work every single day, you're building and building and building and building, and then finally you start seeing the results. So that very beginning time, you might not see anything, but the work is still being put in. It's still getting put into your your toolbox, everything you're doing, and then once you get to that one mark, then you start seeing results. But a lot of the time, people quit right before that, so they never see any results.
That's so impressive, because you have people who've been in the business 10, 15, 20 years who haven't even achieved a minuscule of what you've done. And that's so impressive that you have the discipline and the mindset that you're going to not only reach your goals or identify your goals, but you're going to reach them and put in the work to reach those goals.
Yeah.
That's totally impressive. That's something I do every day myself. Yeah. But I'm beaming right here because I'm just excited that you are so so goal-oriented and driven that way.
Thank you. I feel like you have to be in this career. You have to be.
So tell me what's in store for you in the future. What kind of goal do you have set forth, or what do you see for 2023? What kind of goals are you going to be achieving in 2023 as far as your production?
I would love to do 10 to 12 million, but just when I first started, I think it was really hard just to get a home under contract, multiple offer situation. It was very difficult to get your buyers under contract. And when you start out in real estate, you really are more of a buyer's agent. And as you transition to more of a listing agent over time, but at the beginning, you are really working with a lot more buyers. And I think the shift that we've seen in the market now, I always tell people, I'm like, I feel like I'm working the hardest I've ever worked, and I'm seeing, similar to maybe a little more results than I was before. But it's just, I think right now, this market is really testing, who's going to make it, and who's going to be, leaving. A lot of people are leaving the industry right now, so I think the cream always rises to the top.
Yeah.
And, this year is really going to show who's going to, be in this career for the long haul. I think a lot of people got into the industry when I did because it seemed like it was easy. Oh, you just put a sign in the yard and it sells. But now it's like, okay, well, now you actually have to do a little more than just put a for sale sign in the front yard.
Well, 2020 was a great year, wasn't it, for production? I mean, it was a great year.
Yeah.
And going into 2021 and then 2022, we saw interest rates rising a lot more than we've ever seen it in the past since 2020. And then you're absolutely right that right now we are seeing people getting out of the industry. We see a lot of loan officers as well getting out of the industry, as well as some realtors. So you're right. Those who are sticking to the discipline and staying in the business will rise to the top, and that's what we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. So 2024, any predictions for 2024?
Hopefully. Actually, maybe you can tell me. What do you think for 2024?
Well, I feel rates are going to still continue to rise. And
Not what I want to hear.
I know, but you know what? It doesn't matter because rates will come down. When you look at it, rates will come down. You buy the house at the price right now because it's not going to be the same 6 months or a year from now, because you can tell me prices are still continuing to rise, right? It's not coming down.
No.
Listing agents are listing properties where they should be,
Yes.
not where they were before. Pretty much exaggerated.
Yeah, I think that's been kind of one of the things we've had to do as realtors now is educating our sellers about, like, hey, this isn't the market that it was 6 months, a year and a half ago. That's not the market it is now. We're not going to get the same thing your neighbor got 2 years ago, a year ago.
True.
And I think it's really important to educate your sellers about that in that process, because I think a lot of the time, the homes that are sitting now, there's either it's overpriced or it's a weird layout, and it's usually overpriced.
Well, you mentioned a good word, educate. You need to educate the buyer and the seller as to what the market is right now, and what do you do to stay on top of the market?
I like to call my go-to lender to get the updates. I look forward to my Monday update calls. I really like to go straight to the source. I think if you can read a lot of stuff online, and a lot of the time it's going to be skewed in some sort of way. So I always say, go to the source that you trust and learn from them, and then trickle that down to your clients.
Awesome. So you do like those Monday calls?
I listen to them. I listen to them.
That's great. Believe it or not, I didn't know if anybody really did, but I've been told that they do listen to them. That's great. So, what are some of the misconceptions that people take when they get into real estate? What are some of the things that they?
I think people get into real estate and expect it to be easier than it is. They have an idea of what real estate is, but are quickly shocked when they see the full picture. It's not as easy as it looks. There's a lot of you need to be professional. I think there's a lot of unprofessional people sometimes that can be difficult to work with, but I think if you can carry yourself in a way that creates a reputation for yourself, that goes a long way. I mean, there's a lot of realtors, and it's a big business, but it's really small, and I think just creating a reputation for yourself that is professional is the most important. And I think that's something that people don't consider when they go in.
Why should a consumer use a realtor when you have for sale by owner and it makes it look quite simple to do and save the 6% commission?
I think, again, sellers think it's a lot easier to sell your home than it really is. Well, it definitely was during COVID 2020, 2021. But I think now it's extremely important to use a realtor because, I mean, just with the market shifting, pricing your home correctly, negotiating your offer correctly, I think there's a lot of things that can go wrong. There's a lot of legal stuff that as a regular, homeowner, you probably don't know. You don't know the contract. And you can get into situations that you didn't even know you would be in if you don't have someone kind of guiding you through the process. So I would say, especially even selling your home for top dollar, there's a lot more that goes into it than just putting a for sale by owner sign in your front yard. I think marketing your home correctly, staging your home correctly, professional photography are all pivotal in selling your home.
I totally agree. When I get a buyer who tells me that they're going to do their own contract, the first thing I tell them is, I am not a realtor. I am not going to help you prepare that contract. Do not ask me any questions as to what number goes where. I will not do any of that. There is a reason that realtors are needed. And quite frankly, I would advise that you get representation. I am not going to be that person, that go-to person that you're going to be asking questions of. I'm just not, I just don't do that. And I will tell you, the next question that they'll ask me is, who would you recommend? And so I can refer you to someone, and then you can give them a call, interview them to see if that's the person you want to work with. But I just don't take those loans in that situation, only because I know that I'm going to be doing the work, and I don't want to be put in that situation because, first of all, I'm not licensed to be a realtor, and I don't want to do that job. It's not my job.
Completely understand.
I don't want to do it. It's not, I couldn't do what you do.
I couldn't do what you do.
I couldn't do what you do. I just don't have the patience for it. So, you do great in real estate. I do great in lending. I think
I like to stay in my lane.
I do too. I love that. I've fired a number of realtors who think that they know everything about the loan and which loan I should be giving the client. Okay, so what are some common mistakes that new realtors get into that they put themselves in?
I can tell you from a younger realtor's perspective, it's just not. I think a mistake, again, coming in and thinking it's going to be really easy and you're going to make money really quickly. Usually that's not the case. I'm not going to say you won't come in and immediately sell a house, and you might already have something lined up before you're getting licensed, before you get with a brokerage. But I think people come in thinking that it's going to be quick and then you're going to make a ton of money right off the bat, and that's not the case. Especially as a younger realtor, you need to have, any realtor actually starting out needs to have some sort of nest egg set aside for 6 months to a year. I would really say that. It's not, at the beginning, it's not consistent at all. And you might talk to very experienced realtors that will say, it's still not necessarily the most consistent thing, but as you come more and more into your career, it can become more consistent. You have more referral partners, you have a bigger sphere of influence, but when you're starting out, it's not consistent. It's expensive. It's very expensive to be a realtor. I think that's a misconception for home sellers and home buyers that realtors make a ton of money, and it's just there is a lot of expenses that go into it, and especially as a new realtor, that's something you need to consider when you start out. Is do you have the money to sustain yourself for 6 months to a year without making any money?
What's the benefit? Why would I want to use Cody Miller for my realtor?
I like to say that I try to give a level of service that's unmatched in this industry. I truly do care about the consumer. It's not about the sale. It's about what's going to be the best home and best situation for you and your family. You don't get done dealing with me when at the closing table. I'm going to be pestering you. I'll be in your email, mailing you, calling you. Well after the transaction's over. I like to, sometimes I like to feel like we're friends. Maybe they don't think we're friends, but I like to build a relationship where it is a referral-based business, and I want to give the best level of service I can, and hopefully earn your friends and family's business as well.
That's amazing. Well, I would list my home with you.
Well, I can get you a listing agreement.
What do you see as the latest trends and developments in the real estate business?
I'm seeing a lot right now with just, with rates and kind of learning from you is a lot of buy downs now with people sellers offering to help the buyer buy the rate down, and then even some creative ways to get about it is, because some of those programs have to be seller financed, and, if it is a multiple offer situation and your client does need seller concessions, you can, offer over the amount that you need to get the seller concession that you need. And, technically your client's paying for it, but the seller is going to give you the money at the closing table to, get your client what they need to make, the rate work for their financial situation.
We just did that, right?
We just did that yesterday. Closed yesterday.
We just closed yesterday.
But I think that's something that's really creative that, still gets your clients a competitive offer, and gets them into the home.
That's awesome. So looking ahead, Cody, what are your future plans for in real estate? What do you plan to achieve? Can you give me like a 5-year time frame as to what you plan to do in the next 5 years in real estate? I hope to goodness I'm going to still be here. But
yeah, well, I feel like it's so hard to kind of say, where you want to be, but I hope to still be enjoying the process every day. I think you can't become more successful if you're not enjoying what you're doing. I love what I do. Definitely want to, keep helping people, keep helping families buy and sell, and, just keep building a reputation for myself. And obviously, with that comes more production, more volume, but I like to, focus on how many families can I help, and obviously the numbers will come, but I think the big thing is just, still enjoying the day-to-day, rolling with the punches, whatever the industry is doing. Obviously it's going to be different 5 years from now than it is right now, but just, continuing to educate myself and give my clients the best level of service that I can.
I see you as the $100 million man. Well, personally,
that would be great. Thank you. You definitely helped me tremendously, so I truly appreciate it. Yeah, I've learned a lot from you, so definitely I've been able to carry that over to my clients.
Oh, you're awesome. Well, you're one of my most favorite realtors.
Thank you.
And you know that.
Yes.
And I love working with you. I love seeing you grow and achieve your goals.
Yes.
That's totally amazing. And I feel like, when I hear the accolades, I just, I'm so excited. I'm so proud of you.
No, yeah. What do you see for the future in this industry, and where do you see rates and the finance side of things going over the next couple of years?
Well, I do see where rates will come down. I see that probably in the first quarter of 2024. Okay. We'll see rates coming down a little bit, not too much, but I think we're going to be pretty steady. But I do feel that this particular year, we're seeing much more buyers buying now versus waiting, because they anticipate the rates to go up. So they know, with me educating them, that the prices of homes will still continue to go up. So might as well buy now, because you're still going to realize that appreciation. Yeah. Your return on investment is still going to double if you keep that home. You can always refinance in the future, but you can't buy the home at the same price right now. And then if you're able to buy into that right now, it's going to be to your benefit to do that. So that's what I'm foreseeing.
Sure.
But I do see that prices will continue to rise. I do see that hopefully inflation will be curtailed and that rates will start to come down. When you see inflation coming down, you'll see rates coming down. If you see the prices of gasoline coming down, you'll see inflation coming down as well as rates. So those are the key things that you need to look for. And I will tell you, that's my goal, is to continue to serve my clients, to give them the best type of product, to give them the best advice, but knowing that rates eventually come down because it's cyclical, we're not going to have any problems with that.
So I think one of the big things I think realtors are dealing with right now is kind of trying to get their buyers off the fence.
And that's why they need to call me, because when you can show them the return on investment, because they really don't understand. Most realtors don't know that, and that's okay. I get it. And most loan officers don't know it either. And so when you deal with somebody as educated as I am, and I am pretty well educated, I know how to get that person off the fence, to explain to them what the return on investment would be. They'd be foolish to not put their money into an investment now. thinking that they're going to wait until it comes, that the rates will come down. Well, the rates may come down, but the prices will not. So you have to make a good business decision to buy now. So those particular realtors should bring their buyers to me, and I'll just close them.
Yeah.
Which I always do.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you're amazing. I love working with you.
Thank you.
No offense, I'm going to tell you right now, honestly, I thought, who is this pesky guy who keeps calling me?
I remember our first deal. I will not forget
oh
it.
my gosh, can you stop calling me? Who would have known?
Yeah.
I mean, but I love having these chats. I love having these discussions because this helps you and it helps me. It keeps me on my toes because I love educating realtors. I love being able to be their source of information.
Yeah.
And Dianne, even if that person has their buyers with another lender and they have a situation or a condition that comes up and they don't know what to do, they call me, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I don't get upset that they've gone elsewhere. All I just tell them is how to make it work. And if they can't make it work, come to me and I'll get it done, which about 90% of the time, that's what they do.
Yeah, you will get it done.
I
know there's ever someone that I need someone to get something done, you are the go-to.
Thank you. And that's why they come to me.
Yeah.
So I love what I do. And like I said, it all has to go with educating the buyer. If a realtor doesn't understand or has somebody on the fence, that's because that they have obstacles that they're dealing with. And once you understand the obstacles, then you can find solutions to offset that obstacle or to answer that obstacle. Most people are scared. So what we have to do is to manage their fear. So when we manage their fear and overcome it, then they understand why it's still a good time to buy. Still a great time to buy. When I got into this industry in '96, rates were double digit. Yeah. That was absolutely the nutty time to get into the mortgage business, but we did it. And 2008, when we had the mortgage crash, that was even a crazier time. But I was able to be sustainable at that time because I understood what the market was doing, even though we had a large number of inventory, which didn't help us, but fewer buyers. That was a real problem. And that's when you saw the values of homes come down. We're not seeing that right now. We have a lack of inventory, a good number of buyers, and that's why you see the demand going up with rates going up as well. I mean, not rates, but also the prices going up.
Yeah. That's what I tell my clients. Rates have come up. Prices really haven't come down too much at all. So the people that were waiting for prices to come down are now dealing with higher rates.
Higher rates, right.
So, when is the best time to buy? It's always the best time to buy.
It's now. It's now.
I'm Cody Miller. I'm a realtor with Coldwell Banker, Dianne Harper Realtors in San Antonio, Texas, and I serve the greater San Antonio area. And if you need any assistance with your real estate needs, please give me a call at 210-788-0786.
Well, that's it for today with Cody Miller, the Rookie of the Year in real estate. Thank you for joining us, and thank you, Cody Miller, for sharing with us your insights. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And as always, stay financially savvy.